In today's world, math has been important within our daily lives, regardless. We may not know that we are using math without formulas, but math is used with or without formulas or equations to solve. Personally, I feel uncertain towards math. I feel like I could be able to understand the concepts, and there will be concepts I perhaps will not understand. Usually, when I answer a problem correctly, I get happy, especially when I am being praised. However, when it comes to those similar questions but on an exam, my attitude shifts completely. Before the exam, I am confident, but during the exam, my confidence fades as soon as I realize the problems I had understood turn out to be more complex and I struggle compared to the ones on the homework. Thus, I end up receiving a low score on the exam or quiz. Overall, I had my moments of having confidence yet fear of failing. I remember when I was in high school, I used to be the top student that would receive a 90% and above on exams or quizzes in my calculus class. Even when I was out for 2 weeks because of my surgery, I studied real hard and came back on the day of the exam to get a 95% on the exam. I was stunned, knowing I had missed out of classes for 2 weeks to become that student that received a high score on the exam, and I was pretty much impressed. I was so confident enough that I helped my I remember when I was in high school, I used to be the top student that would receive a 90% and above on exams or quizzes in my I was so confident that at UIC I refused to take a non-credit class based on my placement exam scores. I decided to retake it again until I met the level of the required class I needed. I took the class, but little did I know that it changed my confidence completely. The course was boring from lecture after lecture. I was so confident that at UIC I refused to take a non-credit class based on my placement exam scores. I decided to retake it again until I met the level of the required class I needed. I took the class, but little did I know that it changed my confidence completely. The course was boring from lecture after lecture, and never did my professor even bother to review the contents of each exam. It was basically us having to be independent and having to study everything from the chapter without even knowing what was going to be on the exam quietly. I did well in the homework. In high school, it was all about solving with calculator, but in college, it was completely different. You had to memorize and learn the formulas and equations to the problems. Yes, we were allowed to use the calculator on homework, but on exams, they were not allowed at all, and that's when I knew that I was going to struggle. I knew I could not rely on the calculator anymore, and I had to study a lot to memorize on them and work on practice problems. I had to study over 40 formulas I learned from that course, and it was extremely tiring and exhausting. It was those moments where I had all-nighters to memorize them as well before the exams, just to make sure that I was prepared, and the anxiety started kicking in. And that's when I started to realize that it was extremely exhausting and I had sleepless nights just to focus on math. Before, if I failed a first exam, I would tell myself, I can't do this. But exam after exam, it was getting harder and I just gave up. I was surrounded by those who had received 80% and above on their exams, and I felt hopeless. I used to get A's in math classes in high school, but in college, it was either B or C for math. One thing I learned, however, was learning more when I teach someone the problem, and that was my method of memorizing. Overall, I know I have my moments of succeeding in an assignment or a problem, but when it comes to exams, my confidence fades away as if I had completely forgotten how to solve the problem, or the professor decided to create the problem more harder on us to solve than the ones in homework, and I felt like I did not study enough for it. Furthermore, I fear that what if I do so well in the course, but I end up failing at the end? Or what if I receive good grades on the assignments, but the problems are nothing compared to the ones that would be on the exam? I fear what people have told me, that statistics is harder than general math. Those are my fears. Failure has always been my fear in letting myself down. However, I know I have to overcome those fears and try to stay positive. I cannot let my fears get in the way of succeeding. Like I learned from Stanford, everyone can succeed in math whether you are fast, slow, gifted, or not. Everyone can succeed. I know I have to put effort into my work and study each day to receive better grades. I know definitely if I need help, I will need to ask help from the professor or attend tutoring to receive help, just to get a better understanding in math or the lesson. I know I will challenge myself when it comes to complex problems to receive a better understanding of it. Importantly, not to give up on a failure, but to learn from it and better it. I just know I have to believe in myself to get through this course and receive a grade I want to pass this course, and to have a better understanding of math as well as I use it in the world and in my future.